Companies need to assess what they say to employees and the methods they use to say it. It is vital that no one is left behind. You need to consider issues such as clarity of purpose from management, clarity in communicating expectations, plans and approach, openness to feedback, and empathy towards staff concerns, which builds that critical trust.
Many firms will be managing a dual approach across working remotely and in the office for some time. In fact, from now on, it will probably be a permanent feature of working life. Communications teams are vital right now in ensuring the messaging is clear, meaningful and informative. It is the communications team that act as a bridge between the business and the executive.
In terms of consistency, keeping communication consistent across the board for all employees is critical. We should also remember the lessons learned from the early stages of the pandemic, particularly the early crisis communications, and not lose those lessons.
Clarity. If you have a phased approach, make each stage clear to avoid confusion. Permanent and temporary staff, contractors, those on furlough, all need to receive the same information. You need to acknowledge that different groups and different offices may require different information, but there needs to be an overall consistent message.
Trust continues to be vital. Keep looking for employee feedback as circumstances develop and, crucially, respond to that feedback in order to keep up the levels of trust between management and staff. And relatedly, make sure that the senior team is visible. Their increased input and visibility was a striking feature of many internal communication strategies during the pandemic early days, and that shouldn't fall by the wayside now.
Preparation and planning. Be purposeful about continuing to think about the lessons learnt, not just assume it will happen. And likewise with new employees, be really intentional about contact with them, ensure there are regular check-ins, and think carefully about your virtual onboarding programme. Make the most of any employee resource groups you have and think about the channels available to you and how best to use them, such as your intranet, email and video. Be prepared for more change, for the guidelines to shift, for priorities to move, and plan for these situations.